Welcome back to Good Moms Bad Choices. I'm Erica.
And I'm Milah.
Happy Wednesday, tribe. How you doing?
Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, you look cute.
Thanks.
Got the green boots on.
You know, I really love these boots. I've only worn them a handful of times. I'm always trying to find like reasons to.
I don't think you need a reason. I think they're an all the time type of boot.
They are. I don't know if you guys noticed. I'm a boot bitch. I love a good boot, a cowboy boot, any boot. I love it.
If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, you should definitely do that. We sometimes we do what does Rashad call it from Earn Your
Rashad
Leisure?
calls it the drip check.
The drip check. We do the drip check today. Should we do a drip check?
Okay. Yeah.
The drip check. So we have Jamila here in a satin short set. If you're watching YouTube, she just gave us a little sexy little dance. Oh yes. She's tiny, but she's thick as fuck. Okay. And then she has on the green cow print boots, slight lime neon green color. And oh, look at that thigh. Wow. I don't know what any of these designers are, so they are unknown, but very, very expensive.
They are probably China.
They are Italian leather.
Italian from the factories of China. Silks, maybe polyester. Slightly leopard print. And these are from my favorite, Steve Madden. The fashions of the high end of Steve.
Stephen Madden.
Stephen Madden.
Madon.
It's the
Stephen
French
Madon.
word. It's the French Stephen. Stephen Madden.
No, his name is Stefan Madon.
These are from these are from Stefan Madden. Who? Stefan Madden? Oh, you wouldn't know.
Sorry, no, he's very
really
exclusive.
Very, very foreign, very exclusive. You wouldn't know anything. These are from a unicorn. Actually, this is a unicorn cow of green. You wouldn't know anything about it because it's Italian. It's a green unicorn cow.
Wow.
And my dear wife here, she is wearing. Are those shiny spandex? It's a shiny spandex, and she's going shiny spandex with a hint of glitter. It's formal, but it's comfortable. It's formal, but it's comfortable. Her shoulders are sparkling, and also they have shoulder pads. She's being like modern but retro.
I'm a galactic modern army girl.
And she's of course with Doc Martens. Doc Marten, we would love a sponsorship.
I would. They make me feel like a badass butt-kicking bitch.
Because we're boot bitches. So if you have missed the YouTubes, now's the time to check in. Wow. Everyone really needed that. Anyway.
I'm really excited to introduce our guest today. We have been stalking you for a bit via Spotify. Using all of your amazing music to inspire daily, nightly. You actually came to us through the tribe. So I'm always excited when we get a guest on that is literally passed on through the community. Shout out to Latiana. She actually joined us on our Costa Rica Good Vibe retreat last year. And she shared you with me. So I'm just really excited to invite to the show Toni Jones. She is an affirmation musician and just blessing the world with self-love.
Yes, it's an honor to be here. Seeing you guys on Instagram, hearing you guys talk about all the things. It's just really beautiful to be here. So thank you for sharing who I am and what I do in the world with your platform.
Yes.
We're super grateful. I was just telling her before when you're in the other room that somebody else who I'm in school with is also part of our tribe. She told me, it was like, oh yeah, I interviewed Toni Jones. She's like, you don't know who that is? And I was like, and I looked you up. So it's like, the circles are close.
Yes.
We're attracting all the witchy women, and I love that.
Yes, when I saw you guys, I was like, oh, sis, what up? See you soon.
See you soon, right?
See you soon.
Right. Yeah. It really be like that. Like, oh,
for sure.
We know 3 people who might know each other. I'll see you soon. Like, I don't have to worry. It's like, I want you, and I will see you. And
every time I do it, it always happens. I was like, yep, I knew it.
And it's so funny. We had a guest here before you, and we're like, oh, so-and-so's coming. She's like, oh, maybe I'll hang out and wait and hug her. I was like, okay.
You know what I was also thinking, too, is that so many people find us through audio. And listening to your voice through audio, I had no idea what you look like until maybe like a few days ago, to be honest.
Shut up.
No,
Wow.
So I went on your Instagram and I was like, wow, it's so interesting. Like hearing a person's voice and then attaching, like I really didn't really put a lot of, I didn't know what to imagine. I knew that you had to be this beautiful woman because you have this beautiful voice and this beautiful energy that radiates through your music.
I get it from my mama.
But yeah, and I would imagine that sometimes that's how people feel when they listen to the podcast. Like I think people have literally heard our voices in passing and be like, you good mom's bad choices? Like I've never seen you before. I just heard your voice and it sounds familiar. And I'm like, wow, that's so crazy that you know.
That happened to me in a like public bathroom stall. I was like talking to someone and they're like, do you have a podcast? And I was like, I do. Like so interesting. I'm like a radio personality, but not.
So Toni, can you tell us and share with us your, like, just a little bit about you? Like, how did you, where are you from?
I'm from the D.
Hey.
What up,
Hey,
though?
what's up, Detroit?
Yeah, I was a life coach for 6-7 years, you know, helping young people in Detroit public high schools and coaching women how to heal from workaholism.
Oh, wow.
And I started that 2014, 2015. And I started these messages when it was like, you know, get in your bag, you a bad bitch, you know, no, team no sleep, you know. So my message was very counterculture because I was like, heal from workaholism, self-love, mental health. So it was a minute before it started to like, you know, spill over into the culture. And so as a life coach, I found myself like burning out. You know, I saw a lot of my clients and audience benefit from the depletion of me. And I was like, man, God, you got to give me something that's going to help, you know, my clients and the women practice well-being on the go. And literally through prayer meditation, I got the idea of affirmation music. And I was like, ooh, let me Google that. And so when I Googled it, I didn't find anything that coined affirmation music. I was like, what? I get to do this? And so I actually came to LA for a month. And this was years ago, 2018. And I took all my journals, all my notes from retreats, you know, workshops that I've been to, and even personal writings, you know, and came to LA and wrote affirmations for the grown-ass woman, you know, which is 9 songs that I wanted. This was the trick because I was like, I want these 9 songs to represent the 9 months it takes a woman to grow a child. So as soon as they push play, there's like no going back. You immediately start growing the woman of your dreams. And so I was like, this is going to help my coaching business. Right. I'm going to be a successful life coach. Yo, I released that album and during Women's History Month, 3/19/19. And I released that album 2 weeks later. All hell broke loose. My life completely changed. Lost my job, house, all type of stuff. House broken. It was just crazy. And then I think like a year later, I decided, you know what? I need to become I think there's something here with this because I was like, this is the first time I created something without a doubt. And so, and it was like I was getting some coins. So that's kind of like the backdrop of like how I got into this. Like this, I never had, you know, becoming a musician on my vision board, no shit like that. It was never never saw myself as an artist. Right. So it was all a surprise. So it's like, you know, being an ambitious woman, and being a nerd, you know, logic and things like that. I was just like, wow, there's dreams happening that I didn't plan, that I didn't strategically put intention behind.
Well, I think, wow, I mean, I relate to that so much because I think when you don't have expectation, it removes the fear. Yeah. You know, and I think that speaks to like me and Jamilah's business here. It's like we started this shit low key by accident. It was not but for some reason, like it was the first thing we created or I created. And I think Milah too can speak to this without doubt. without a lot of doubt.
It's fun.
Yeah.
No, there wasn't. You don't put all this pressure on yourself to like perform or like to like hit any point. You're just like, let's put this out. I feel good about this.
Yes, and that made me feel like, okay, how much more can I unplan my life?
Right.
Let's see what kind of magic happens when I unplan it. Let me take some stuff off and leave more space. So in between then and now, I mean, it's been a few fuckboys, a few situationships, distractions.
Right.
And through every one of them, they've been initiations into the highest version of me as a woman. And I'm grateful for all those experiences,
Yeah, I think that's so true. Like, I think we have such a strong grip on like the what we want to happen, and sometimes it's really in like maybe having an aspiration but releasing the how, or like exactly how it looks. Like you wanted to help people, you wanted to be a life coach, and essentially that's what you're doing, but in a different over a different medium. And it's like, I think we had a clear idea, like we needed to like see representation. We wanted to see like more single moms, like what's going on, like is that the other single moms are living their lives, what the fuck, where are you at? And it wasn't like, it was just like this notion of like we had an intention, but there wasn't so much there's not so much pressure built up behind it, like it performing. And so it's just like the release of the planning and the like detail of how it looks sometimes really is what like catapults it to exist and like and take form in ways that you like your mind hasn't even grasped yet, Yeah,
and it's actually giving you the muscle to understand the energy of abundance, because you do less, you receive more. Part of abundance is resting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just chill. Like how we garden. It's like we're not always over the seed. Like, okay, you ready yet?
You ready? Hello.
Come on now.
Sprout.
How much sun? Come on, sunshine. Get it. We're not doing that.
That's so true. You're just like, I'm going to water you and leave you here.
Yeah.
I had a plant die when we were in Costa Rica. It's been alive for 2 years, and my dad must have forgot to water it because it was like in a weird place. And I was like, what the fuck? And Orlando was like, throw it away. I was like, no. I like watered it, put it in front of the sun, nothing. It was dead as hell. And I was like, no. And then like the other day, I was like, bing, like one little leaf. And I was like, I knew you would come back.
Yes.
But I had no like I'm like, if you die, it's cool. You've given me a good 2 years, but like I'm gonna keep like trying because I love you,
Yes.
But it's just like, like that idea is that like I know that you have the ability to re-sprout and to exist.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna like do the things that I know make you exist, like feed myself in the way that I need to nourish my myself, and then the dreams and the accomplishments will kind of be fruitful as when it's time,
Yes, that's the equation for sure.
I think hearing that you were a life coach and that you helped women who struggle with this idea of overworking is so interesting to me, especially because this month we're talking about money. And, in previous themed months around money that we've done, it has been heavily in finance. But this month we've been really tapping into different sources of currency, right? And I think that a lot of times our worth is wrapped up in literally like financial, like how much money we make, or how much output we're putting out, the overworking idea. And I think that's so, I've never heard of a life coach that focuses on kind of the unlearning of that concept and that idea. I do feel like now in society, there's still this idea of like, get to the bag and I feel like Team No Sleep has died more for sure. And that there is a more, I think with the pandemic, it kind of has shifted everything into like kind of pouring back into yourself, figuring out what it is that, what self-care looks like for you. But there's still such, I think still amongst women too, there's still such a demand and a expectation, especially because we are stepping into a space and time where we are the heads of households and we want to be in ways. And there's this pressure that if you aren't performing, and if you aren't creating, or you aren't doing something that's like you're showing your work, that you're worthless.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's not a slight to the woman who enjoys work, because I'm one of those women. I actually really enjoy working. I don't necessarily, I think it's because I found my purpose, and so it drives me. However, it has drained me too, you know, in times, and like really needing affirmations, needing to hear my voice, and or someone else's voice to say like, okay, it's okay, you can slow down.
Yeah.
Like, the world will not stop if you stop, you know?
Yeah. We've been hardwired to identify, or I guess define, our existence by being workers and producers and performers. We have a K through 12 education system that kind of indoctrinates you in that. You know, you're there most of the year, majority of the day, majority of your life, K through 12. And they teach you, hey, you do this, you get an A. You do this, you get 3 stars. Yeah. And then you go to high school, the same thing. You get a certain score, and then rah. Then you get that validation from the adults. The adults are like, whoa.
Accomplishments.
And you know, so you start, and part of it, human psychology, regarding our happiness, human happiness, validation is a part of that. Like when you're a kid and like, look, mommy, look what I drew. And it's just so scribbly scrap. Like, you know, that's still part of us, even at 30.
Like, that's not good.
Yeah. Like, I mean, the whole reason why social media exists is because we want validation. It's show and tell, like how you did in kindergarten, show and tell. So it's like at the end of the day, we have to understand what we are and how we're designed. Why am I saying that? Because when you understand that when you first got to this place, they're telling you work, perform, produce. This is how you get happiness, validation, love, reward, attention, all of that. So now we got these new ideas that says, I don't have to do this. I love myself. I'm worth my rest. I'm worth my ease. So now we have to, we got to, decondition from that and feed the new ideas. This is literally like not any like hippie knowledge. This is like neurological facts.
Yeah.
I'm sure y'all know, you know what I'm saying? So you have to like kind of create like a marketing campaign, an advertising campaign that markets to your hearing, your senses, your sight, your speech, your everything around you. Like that's why vision boards are so important. Affirmation music is so important, because this campaign has to be advertising these new ideas for your brain to be like, oh,
actually, that makes more sense.
You know, right?
It is like, it's crazy. We have to produce a campaign to go back to our like natural state, because the truth of the matter is like, when we're indoctrinated into these programming, that's what they're doing. But they've done it for so long that
we're programmed.
We're programmed. So it takes it takes reprogramming to get back to our natural like existence. And even I was thinking like, you know, about you working in like life coaching and with like workaholism is like for women too. We're programmed even as little girls, like, you know, can it be a good girl? Like it's not even, right. It's for love, and it's not even it's not just performing in like a workplace. And obviously like women are heavily head of household and like heavily in like in the work field in this point, and you know, and we are trying to get to a bag, and there is something to prove, like I'm independent and I can take care of my fucking self and I don't need shit. But there's also like the aspiration for women to not only like now work, but also like keep the house clean, take care of your children, cook, you know, like all the laundry should be completed, like be a good wife. Like there's like for love and for acceptance in society. And like, if I go drop off my kids for a week, everyone's going to be looking at me like, what the fuck? Are you okay? Are the kids okay? Like, yeah, bitch, I need a break. You know, like it's performative, and it's like workaholism shows up in a lot different ways. Every area. And like for women, I don't think we even realize that that's a part of it. Like feeling like our worth is tied to our productivity, even in like domestic environment, like even at home.
Domesticated. Even like the stay-at-home wife or the stay-at-home mom. Not realizing, and society definitely skews that for sure, because people don't regard and don't respect the mother who stays home in ways they don't. They don't realize what a task that is in itself.
No idea,
you know. But yeah, that I think that, you know, I'm so curious to know how, you know, this work. I know how this work has led you to, I guess, healing within yourself too. like being able to share these affirmations and write them down? Like, are they personalized to things that you're going through in your experience when you're writing these, or?
That's a great question. It's literally my medicine first. It took me, I think after the last album that I did, I had 5 projects out. I was like, oh my God, this is for me. Because literally every time when Affirmations for the Grown Ass Woman came out, I immediately entered an initiation process of growth. Like, time to grow up, time to mature. You know what I'm saying? You're too childish in a lot of ways. When I had I See Me mantras, as soon as it dropped, I had to go into initiation of self-awareness that almost, it was just like a lot. Me versus every me, affirmation, self-love. It was like, oh, I'm about to fight. I'm fighting every demon. And I don't even think it was mine. I think it was just like in my generations, you know, the darkness of shame and guilt and blaming men. Like, it's your fault. It's your fault. Choose me. Give me more. So, like, it was just like all these things I was fighting within myself. And so for me, I look at it like this music is my medicine first. I have to benefit from it first. It has to heal me first. And I'm going to let the world watch me take my own medicine. And I'm going to share it with y'all in real time. I've been so shocked. I mean, completely like rocked my world to realize how much I did not practice my own message in music. I was like, whoa, I got so many songs about hold your womb sacred, sexual healing through, boundaries. And I just have all these elaborate, beautiful songs, very sincere. But I'm like, I ain't practicing none of that. So
I do know, because we sit on a podcast every single week and to give and give unsolicited advice about shit that we aren't always applying to our lives. However, I will say that I think that is the first step.
It
is the acknowledgement, is planting the seed, is realizing, like, is even saying it and then going back and being like, oh shit, that's for me. Like, that's for me. Yeah.
Or saying it over and over and over.
And realizing,
like, I'm not even listening to the shit I'm saying. Like, I know it sounds good, so I'm saying it, but I'm not integrating it into my life. And then it's like, even the power of speaking it is like, damn, bitch, you said this a lot of motherfucking times. Like, are you shifting to make it a shift? Or like, even like you're trying a lot of times, and like, can you give yourself grace in that time? Or like, are you just getting up? Like, because for me, if I find myself having a behavior that I don't really like, but I can't, like, I'm sucked into it in ways, it makes me like avoid it. I'm an avoider. So there's ways like I will just like shut off that part of me. And it's like, no, bitch, you got to go down the hall and figure it out. Like, why are you avoiding and why? But it's like the power of speaking it is like where the power comes out, because it's like releasing it. And right now we have a merch drop. It's a beautiful sweatsuit from the Manifest University, but the back says words are spells.
Yes.
And I know for some people, that can be off-putting, spells, whatever, but it's the truth. Just like in the Bible, there's prayers, like there is so much power in speaking. And like, even what you said, like it resonated with me about, you were dealing with things that you don't even think were your own. And that's another thing. Like, I don't even think we recognize that, until we're ready, or until we like take the time to actually tap into the feelings. It's like, sometimes the feelings that we're harboring truly aren't our own. We inherit things from the women before us, from the men before us. And we're trying to battle with things, not even realizing, like, I don't even fucking understand why I'm jealous. I don't understand why I'm angry. I don't understand. Like, I've inherited, like, intense suspicion. Like, what? I can't trust you.
Like, it doesn't feel like it even resonates with you, but you're holding it for some reason.
Yeah, it's like, I don't even believe in that.
Yeah.
But I've seen my mom believe in it, and I've seen her be like almost held prisoner to it.
I listened to music that talked about it. I watched entertainment that
all the things we intake that we don't even realize, just like plant into our hearts and our minds and our bodies.
I was reading George's book, All Boys Aren't Blue, and I haven't gotten very far, but it's really good. And he has a part where he says, I realized it was happy for me to identify with, like, it was hard for me to identify with happiness. And he was like, and I feel like that's a lot for our culture. It's like, you always hear people say like, where's that old Mary? Where's the hurt Mary? And, we all love hurt Mary. My titties out. we all love hurt Mary, and it feels oddly good to like relate to her pain, like it feels good to feel like to go to that place of heartbreak because you've been there, but it's like sometimes when you're like really happy and at peace, it's harder to kind of like feel safe in that. You're like, why do I feel like I'm happy, like I'm in love, like things seem pretty good, but it feels uneasy because it's easier for us to like identify it and feel comfortable in the pain. Yeah. And when he said that, I was like, damn, that's deep, because we've all heard that comment, and it's like we've all experienced struggle, even on a like cellular level, or like on an ancestral level. There's been deep, like deep heartbreaks and family being pulled away from us, and relationships, and like and it lives in our spirits.
It does. It's like it's a genetic archive in our bodies of the trauma, of the memories and things like that. So we have to understand, like, especially as women,
in the womb.
The central nervous system is literally the kingdom.
Mm-hmm. That polyvagal
nerve.
It's
the kingdom. And so when you understand that it's a whole system that has been used to pain. It's used to a certain rhythm and cycle. And when you interrupt that cycle with peace, with ease, it's like, wait a minute, we're used to chaos, So it's just like, it's all, for me, it's been a journey. Like, I'm sure for a lot of us, of like self-soothing the nervous system as you go into a space of normalizing, generosity, integrity, trust, goodness, security, safetyness when you're experiencing other people, because we're so used to experiencing humans with the bullshit,
Yeah, we expect it.
Yeah, like, we expect
when's the bullshit coming?
Where is it coming?
When's the bullshit coming? And then it made me, that really made me had to realize that, like, you have to trust your growth. You have to trust your evolution. You have to trust that, like, I mean, and obviously we've all backpedaled. We've all, been with that fuck guy, and we're like, bitch, we're past this, bitch. Are we still doing this? Are we still doing this? You don't still let him stick your dick, his dick in you, bitch.
Right. Yeah.
We didn't detoxify the pussy. You gonna re-toxify.
We went through that whole detox for what?
But it's just like, that's a part of it too. It's like, it takes time, and it takes like, it's a practice. It really is a practice. And to the point where it's almost difficult to talk about. And I think we should talk about this more, that like, there are no healed people, and you can be an affirmation singer, and you can have a podcast and a microphone, and you can give advice. Mm-hmm. And I can come up here and pretend like I've got all of my shit together and I know all the answers because I've been podcasting for 5 years. But like, the truth of the matter is, like, let's be real. Like, it's going to, in our journeys, it's going to continuously come up. There are going to continuously be obstacles where we'll retract, and we'll be like, bitch, you're better than this. And like, so it's just like like, you can know something, and then to implement it in action, it takes time to like get reprogrammed to that, and then start to like trust that I've grown enough that I'm going to attract the people that are for me, and that I can trust, and trust myself that I'm choosing wisely.
That's it.
So then I can let my guard down. It's like, bitch, you're not the person you were 5 years ago when you were comfortable in that fuck shit. Period. So be accepting of the people that are in this place right now that you've attracted, because you've done the work to attract the right circle.
It's that titty is definitely out.
Okay. Her titties fight. They fight the shirts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you name your titties?
I haven't, like, the right titty and left titty, but I
You name your titties?
Yeah.
Oh, what are their names?
Veronica and Elaine.
Veronica and Elaine.
Veronica and Elaine. Veronica is the bigger one.
Maybe if I name them and identify them, they'll stop trying to come out like, see me.
Like, Veronica, get your ass back in there.
Veronica, get in there.
She named us. Now we
talked about this.
Now we can stay in our space. Yeah. She acknowledged us, and now we can have a seat.
You need to communicate with your titties, just like you need to communicate with everybody.
Hi, you guys.
Speaking of communication, you also must.
We're going into a podcast. I can't have you out on the algorithm.
We were talking earlier before we hit record, and you were telling me that communication is the ultimate self love. Is basically, is that what you said?
No, that's not what it
What did you say?
No, it's fine. You're close though.
Communication is
affirmations is the language of self love.
Is the language of self love. And that resonated with me because, we talk a lot we always share an affirmation on the show. And, me and Milah have talked about just affirmations in friendships, affirmations with our children, and just, and just also just straight communication and just the power of using your voice out loud. And I mean, obviously we know the power of that just because of, what we do here. But I've realized, in sitting down and talking every week, so much has come up for me where I'm like, oh shit, like I'm not over that. Or like, and things have even come up, and I talk about this in the book that we have coming out, you guys. Make sure you check out A Good Mom's Guide to Making Bad Choices, which is on pre-sale right now. I'll hit the link in this episode description. Humble.
You got some free gifts with it too, so get it early.
Shameless plug. But I talk about my relationship with my father and how it's been a very long journey of forgiveness and for him. And even at points where I thought I'd already forgiven him. And then it's come up that I hadn't. And how speaking out loud, and not even to him, has been extremely transformational for me. And just like, talking out loud, like I do this, I have this exercise in the book and I've shared on the show too, where I, walking around, there's a school in front of my house, and I was walking around the school vocally out loud forgiving him. Like in a way, my dad is here. I can do this with him right now, but the amount of times in which I need to release and say this would be crazy for me to call him up and be like, Daddy, I need to tell you again how you pissed me off on my 16th birthday. And but just the power of saying things out loud repetitively is so important to the healing, especially I feel like when you can't get the healing from that person too, because some people are like, well, I can't forgive my daddy ain't here, or he's not sorry, and like using the tool of your own voice in releasing and even recording your own voice and listening to it back, because it's one thing to listen to someone talk to you, but it's another thing. It's even more powerful in your own voice, hearing that from yourself. And I can only imagine how powerful that has been for you. You have albums of yourself talking to yourself.
It's wild. I listen to myself. I'm like, dang, that girl we talk about. I'm like, oh, that's me. I'm like, I said that. I wrote that.
I was like,
I just be like, whoa.
I'm like, where did she get? Where in the source did she come up with this?
But I'm telling you, I've been writing since I was a kid. I just didn't know it was of something valuable to share. But to your point about repetition, I want to make a statement about knowing thyself, knowing what you are. Like the power of repetition is so important for you to translate what you know into your embodiment, because it's like, think about billion-dollar companies and brands and icons and leaders in the world. You made it. Why are you still hustling for our attention? You got your message in the magazines, social media ads, on the bus, billboards, commercials, everywhere. Why are you hustling for little old me? Why you want my attention and you constantly put it in front of my face to buy your food? It's because the power of repetition, it impacts the subconscious mind to influence your habits and behaviors. So when it comes to yourself, again, you have to advertise, you have to campaign, you have to market.
You have to market yourself.
You have to market
yourself.
Period. So that repetition, even if you're like, man, I don't know if I want to be about that forgiveness game by my parents. The truest affirmation to say is, I'm open and I'm willing where I'm resistant to be more forgiving of my parents. I attract thought partners, heart allies to help support me in that You know what I'm saying? Get real honest with yourself and where you're at.
I love that.
And keep saying it more and more and more,
Like make me more open where I'm shut off.
It gotta be real. It gotta think about the guys who talk weird game. Like, man, you're so beautiful. Like, it's like fake. Like, come on,
Shut
bruh.
up, like-
Shut up. But if somebody's like, hey, how you doing? Like, you know, just talk to you like, hey, how you been doing since post-pandemic? You know, just real human to human talk. It's more real. So when you talk to yourself, keep it real. Don't be fancy and all, you know, doing the most. Sometimes you got to just be real with yourself or where you're at, you know?
That's the thing. Like it is easy to talk to others. It's easy to give advice. It's a whole different ball game when it has to be applied to you. You know, it's a whole different like experience. You know, like I did a family constellation recently, and at the end of it, she is basically like telling me to repeat what she says, and she's like, "Mom, like I'm talking to my mom, I'm talking to my dad, I'm talking to little Milah, and like I've never met this lady in my fucking life." And,
Explain to people what family constellation, because people are like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
okay, so family constellation is I only seen it once on like Love, Sex, and Goop on Netflix with fucking who's the girl who does that?
I don't remember her name.
Gwyneth
Paltrow.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
So it's this really interesting thing where basically the practitioner has a person. I go and they create a field, and you don't know who the people are in the field are going to be. And you just tell them some background about who you are, your family history. She asked me like my immigration story. She asked me about my mom, my dad, diseases like that have run in my family, deaths that have happened, how people have died, just like general family history that I mean, some I knew, some I didn't know. My relationship with my parents, their relationship with each other. So then she tells me to place these papers on the floor. She put full numbers on each paper, place them on the floor. And then she's like, place them wherever you want and then show me. I was like, what the fuck? And she's like, now, you know, go to go to whichever one calls you first and stand on it. And so, and like, if you don't do it online, the other version of it is there are volunteers.
Yeah, I was looking at, can I read this definition? Because I feel like it really...
Okay, yeah.
This is from actually Goop.
Okay.
You meet with a group of strangers, and each person has a chance to be the main point of focus of their own family constellation. A facilitator selects others from the group to represent significant family members, and you all work together by role-playing characters and acting out familiar family dynamics.
Well, here's the thing: is like, say for me, I was getting the family constellation, and maybe I don't know you guys, and they choose you to play in my field.
Like I'm grandma,
but I don't know that.
But you don't know.
I don't know that. They'll just put you in different places, and then maybe I'll go stand next to you, or I'll stand next to you, and then you guys will channel someone who doesn't know me at all, and you'll be like, "Well, I feel sad. I feel angry. I don't." And then like, "Well, look at number 2. How do you feel now?" Like, I don't want to look over there. It gets really strange, and it's like, or people just like, I feel like a little girl. Like, it's just like, you have to be really willing to be like captured by whatever energy captures you. But at the time, I don't know. So for me, it was these papers. I stood on the papers, and she's like, "Well, how do you feel?" And I was like, "What the fuck are we doing?" She's like, "I know this is weird." I'm like, "Bitch." So I'm like, "You got me in my room standing on a number 1." And I was like, "Well, I feel, you know, whatever I feel." And then the second one, you know, I moved. She's like, "Go to whatever number you feel called to go on next." And the second one, I went and I sat and I like felt like kind of like happy, like childlike. I don't know why. I didn't even think of it. And then I sat there for a while. She's like, just sit and see how you feel, see how your body moves. She's like taking notes. And then I was like, oh my God, I feel like I need to cry. I'm like, this is really weird. What the fuck are you doing to me from a distance? What are you doing to me on Zoom? So I start crying. Like, she's like, it's okay. I know this stuff is weird. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then I moved through all the numbers, feeling and like just kind of giving her how I feel. And sometimes I felt nothing. Sometimes I felt more of other things. And then we sat down, and then she tells me who each number was. And the one that I cried on, it was my childhood self. So like, you know, there's all these different, and even the placements are significant, you know, like my mom was in between me and my dad. And like, do you feel like that, you know, it was just all these different dynamics. And then at the end we like move the papers to be in a more like, I don't know, like flowing like place or way. And then I stand on one of the papers, and then she tells me to look at the paper, and she's like, "Mom, I know you did the best with what you can, but and I accept." Like, it was like a speech to my mom, a speech to my dad, a speech to my younger self, and I was just like bawling, and I'm like, this is crazy that this lady that I've never met in my life is telling me what to say, and it's triggering me in these ways because it's things that I didn't realize like I've needed to say, and I didn't have the strength to say, "Hey, Dad, you hurt me," and I'm asking you for permission to surpass you. Like, if that's what she's talking about, I'm asking your permission that I like surpass you in all the ways, emotionally, like, and it was just like this crazy experience, and it made me realize, like, damn, I'm fragile, and there are things that I need to say that I'm scared of saying, and like how powerful, like even knowing the power and healing that words have given me, even in this space, and feeling free in ways to say all types of shit on the internet, you know, talk about sex, talk about like things I've experienced, but then when it comes to like the people closest to me and these intimate things and this pain that I've harbored or like anger that I haven't really addressed because now this like random white lady is telling me what to say to my mom and dad and I'm fucking bawling. It was an interesting like practice to be like, okay, there's obviously some like more there that needs to like be uncovered, but all that to say is just like even me in this space so comfortable speaking, and then you know put in this environment where I have to speak to, you know, the things that are like close, I've harbored so close to my heart that are like I've been hurt over or held on to and not even realize I'm holding on to, are much more difficult to release, like with words. You know, it's like that throat chakra needs to be like
activated,
cleared out.
Wow, that's beautiful. You know, any woman who goes back to the past as though it's a museum and become the observer and like kind of like a 3D virtual world of like going back to feel the feelings. It's not real because it's not in the now. But you virtually, through your spirit, through your emotions, through your mind, you go back and you feel the stuff that you really didn't have the skill sets to feel. You had to survive those things. And when a woman does that, game changing, because all you do is you open up yourself to deeply feel the joy from just being alive, the joy of being able to put makeup on, the joy of eating a banana. You're like, why am I feeling gratitude for just these little things? It's because you opened up your emotional intelligence to feel the pain first deeper. And when you're able to feel that, you just expand your skill sets, your emotional skill sets, to feel all the goodness that's actually here for us, you know? So congratulations for going deep.
Thanks.
Going into the museum of your childhood. That's not easy.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it in ways, but not obviously in that setting. And even Erica, like the fact that you knew to do, like it's like we know, but we have to remember, and then we have to honor the space where it's like, am I going to walk around the block and talk out loud to someone who's not here? You know, like, am I going to go to my childhood house and like go find me? Like, it takes a certain mindset to be like even open to that, because like you said in the beginning, and we've said this a lot of times, it's like, you know, if I tell people like, you know, people that they're like, okay, that's some white people shit or some hippie shit. Like, bitch, you did well. You went in your room and stepped on some numbers. Like, okay, girl, you know, like it sounds wild, but like when we're open enough to access and then be like, you know what, this is weird, but fuck it. Let me see like how beneficial it could be. You know, like, and then feeling the shift and then being in safe spaces enough, being in sister circles where you could be like, hey girl, so let me tell you what I did. You should try it too. You know, and feeling safe enough to do that, because a lot of times people are like, bitch, that's that devil work. You know, like people feel scared of those intuitive moments where you're like, damn, like something's making me go this way. Just honoring that inner voice.
Yep.
Yeah, no, for sure. Honoring. I mean, something told you that was something that you needed, that you were called to do. And then now look at what you've been able to, you know, cultivate because of just following intuition, following, just like something deep within you that needed that.
The medicine.
Yeah. The medicine. I needed it. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. I never been in a studio. I went to LA. Like I told you guys.
Have you made music before, or you?
No,
so not even musical, just
nothing. I came back and I applied for a loan, got the loan, and I got in the studio. And I took my background is psychology, and I'm a neuroscience nerd, and so I took all that information to say I'm gonna create my own process of how I create music. So I became like a mad scientist. Like every song had a whole life. You know how when you were kids and you played Barbies and they had a whole name, life, kids, drama, situations. Like each song, like I gave each song that type of lifestyle. And I was like, this is my process. And this is fun. So I was just like, let me just do this and see what happens. It wasn't about becoming a musician. It was just a wellness tool. And then like a year later, I became a full artist. And then 2021 was my first year performing ever in life.
Wow.
So I mean, I came from the church. So it's like when I went to the Winans church. So it was very music based. So it was like that a little bit helped a little bit, but I'm in vocal lessons. I'm learning this whole thing, but it's fun because it feels like a quest to see how much more can Toni Jones play this version of herself as an artist and see what else is here because it feels better.
Well, it's also a testament that you can switch what you think your life's purpose is at any point, at any moment. Your journey can change, your profession can change, the way you look at how you think you're going to get to the goal can change. And sometimes it's not your 9 to 5. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's affirmation, musical affirmation. Sometimes it's podcasting. Sometimes it's whatever it is. Like it's okay. But when you step into what you're supposed to be doing,
and it may not make sense. It doesn't necessarily have to make sense. No. Like you've probably put so much money into schools and like formal training, and like we are so attached to that.
But it's work. But you're able to still use
it,
right?
You're still able to use it.
Yeah, because I started out as my big dream was to be a model when I was a kid. And then it evolved into like, well, I missed out on my modeling years. So let me become a stylist. So I lived out in New York for a minute, a hot minute, and was working, for John Barbados and all these other design houses through Saks and things like that. So I saw like the fashion world. But then I was like, wait a minute, this is fulfilling a talent, but not purpose. And so, but even coming back full circle, I'm like, I'm an artist.
All my shit,
all of it. So I get to wait, hold on. I get to put the clothes on,
dress.
Yeah, I get to perform. I get to be bomb.
I get to talk my shit.
Yes,
I get to be fly. I get to share my mind that I'm a thinking woman. I get to share my depth and it be reflected back at me by the millions of people that are like, yo, we deep too. We wretched too. We think too. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
because when you follow your purpose, God or whatever it is you believe in will then bless you with all the seeds that you planted along the way, and they'll start to bloom and they'll start to take form and they'll make sense.
Yes.
I think about even, my journey here, and I wanted to be an actress my whole life. I wanted to be a singer my whole life. So I'm a writer. And so I learned how to use GarageBand. I learned how to record myself. I learned how to talk in front of the camera. I took vocal lessons. I did all these things, and some of those dreams, passed for me, or I lost, they lost their shininess in ways, or I got discouraged in ways. Mm-hmm. And then I think about coming full circle into podcasting. And when we started our show, I was like, oh, I know how to record audio.
Yeah.
Not because I was trying to be a podcaster, but because I was writing music. Oh, I know how to edit video. Oh, I know how to be in front of a camera. Mm-hmm. Oh, I know how to write some shit. I don't know if it's professional, but I did some writing once upon a time, mm-hmm. And how all these little talents kind of come up and they finally make sense. And you're like, oh, I got it. I got it.
It's like nothing ever experienced in your life is not ever used.
Every experience is such a like important tool to like where you end up, and it's like that's why like people who have like bad experiences and it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. It's like it's always a lesson. There's always a reason. Always. And I also think like we're so also programmed to think that our purpose in has to be like our profession has to be like with this like very strict training, like it has to fit into this box, and then it it doesn't allow us, it doesn't really give us space to tap into our own gifts, like our natural gifts. And like, I love to talk and I love people and I love to talk to people. But I didn't think that that was enough. You know, like I can't just show up as myself and talk. And I like, you know what I mean? Like that's not enough to like sustain a lifestyle, the lifestyle that I think I need to be. Like I want to have this, so I need to go to school and I need to have this many clients and I need to sell this many packages and then I'm going to be successful. You know what I mean? And it's like all the things that I'm naturally good at that I didn't think really had value are actually the things that are valuable and are bringing me monetary value and also like spiritual value, because I feel like I'm empowering. Like there's a strong cycle that's happening. Like I feel like I'm constantly in spaces with amazing women who have messages to offer me and lessons to offer me, because it's just the cycle of the giving and the receiving.
The ecosystem.
And like putting it out and being open to receiving it. And it's like I don't know everything, but I've shifted my idea of what like how success can look, and really been like, oh bitch, being a people person is a true skill. And that's why you could be in Costa Rica and I'm like, when I say people person, like I want to sit deep and connect with you and learn about you. I want to be like, oh wow, that's so intriguing to me. I had no idea that's who you were and that's what you were going through. And it brings me so much like, oh, like that I went through that, and oh, this is how you dealt with it, and that makes so much sense, you know, like this like information that I get to receive and give just from other women's journeys. And it's so valuable. And I didn't realize how valuable it was until I got into this space and like kind of blindly followed this like this hobby. But it's like, you know, it's like we underestimate our natural gifts and abilities because we're so programmed to think that it has to come with a degree and we have to go to law school and you know what I mean? And like back in the day, people were like, this child, she will be the midwife. This child is gifted. This child,
this is the shaman.
This is the shaman. You know what I mean? Like as a child, you're like, oh, she's the artist or whatever.
This is the athlete, the doctor.
And you're not like contained. You can have more than one talent.
Yes.
You know, and it's like, no, actually I do this and this and this and this. And, you know, and I'm good at it.
That's the thing. I'm actually good at it. I'm good at what I do. You know, that's the undeniable piece.
And feeling like, worthy, feeling like, I am good at it. And I don't have to have a fucking piece of paper from Harvard that says I'm good at it, bitch. I'm telling you. And I've seen the results because my friends told me.
But
I healed them.
Your work is an affirmation. So you're constantly affirming what you do in your work. So like, that's also like, what a blessing for that to be the work, you know? And
it's extraordinary. I'm in awe that this has happened. I'm in awe. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I didn't have anything more to say. I was just thinking like, wow, imagine. I mean, I think for us, like we think like, wow, my work is really just really analyzing everything that I've done in my past that has gotten me here. And again, like connecting with other women and talking about what they've done. Your work is literally like affirming yourself all the time, walking in whatever the choices are that you've made and affirming yourself again, even after you fuck up, affirming yourself that it's okay and you're going to make a better choice. But that is also your job.
Yeah. It's incredible because it's legit medicine, because it has one of the most potent medicines in the universe, which is sound, which is music. Music has a medicinal legacy. It eventually became known just as entertainment, but music really goes into the psyche, into the places maybe your therapy sessions can get into.
Well, that regular basic language that we've been limited to cannot. We've been given this language as a means to be able to communicate, which is it's very important, right?
Yeah.
But there's something otherworldly and spiritual about sound and the creation that takes place with sound.
It's amazing. It's amazing. The testimonies of what this music has done to people is so extraordinarily overwhelming to me. Because it's my self-talk and I'm sharing it with other people. But I also think it's just having an open heart. Whatever you do, I don't care if it's like you just write, just having that open heart component to whatever you create makes it more potent to actually touch the hearts and minds of people. Because people are fucking hurting right now.
And a lot.
Like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in spaces with people I haven't seen in years, and I've just been around them or whatever, and the obvious bleeding out that's happening, the anxiety, the mental, like it's so obvious. It's like, oh my gosh, and I'm supposed to act like nothing's wrong.
I can hear you screaming.
I can hear you screaming.
But you know, and we're like really, really blessed to be walking in spaces that we're like our questioning and our like wellness and the love is always at the forefront. You know what I mean? Like we're not like lawyers like scheming. You know what I mean? Like sometimes when you're in a cycled job where it's not really like heart centered, you're not really aware that you're bleeding out, that you're not speaking, that you're not telling your emotions, that you're not tapping into pleasure because you don't get to talk about it all fucking day.
No,
all day we're thinking about like my inner child, like I was triggered, my trauma. You know, like if we could count the amount of times we say triggered, trauma, and healing in fucking a week, it's crazy. My inner child, my shadow work.
We got the language now,
right? But these are words that like maybe my mom didn't have. Like I'm having conversations with my mom right now, and I'm like, whoa, you know that word? Mm-hmm. She's like, yeah, my vibration is high right now. I'm vibrating very high. I was like, okay.
Well, I just also see, and I don't know, maybe Toni, you can attest to this too, is like once you start really doing the work and allowing the affirmations to do what they're supposed to do, you ultimately even start healing people that you didn't even expect to heal, like your parents in ways, like your elders that didn't have the blessing of this magic that you make, or even just the communities and the circles that are being created now. Like, granted, circles have been around. This is not the invention of sister circles, but there's been a huge break and decline in it, and there is a resurrection happening, an awakening. And I just even know, like, even with the relationship with my own mom, her coming to me for advice in ways without coming to me for advice, but this is a different conversation. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. The other day she said to me, she said, honey, you're so smart. And we were talking about relationships. It wasn't about work. It wasn't about business. It was about like her choices versus the choices that I'm making for myself right now. And how she sees that I'm making a different choice in ways that she wishes that she would have made, or that she wants to make now. Yeah. You know, and that's such a
you're the contrast.
Such an interesting place to be when I don't know, like I haven't always felt like I've been given the space to be I don't want us to be I guess like the teacher in that kind of dynamic. And not to say like I'm like now I'm Buddha and my mom like I'm healing my mother.
But you are. But there are
aspects that I'm like, my freedom was like, I feel like a bit triggering for her at first, and then the space that we have. And now she's really seeing like
the fruits. The fruit. See, that when you get into that place of overflow, anybody connected to you, they have no choice at this point because you're connected to them. They're close to you. So you're basically
we're of them. That we're of each other.
Yes, you're signaling to her healing because you're in your overflow now. You're not trying to heal her from a place of I have to save you, I have to do these things for you. No, you're coming from a place of abundance because now you're blooming. You know what I'm saying? The tree is blooming, is bearing fruit, and now they see and like, whoa, you know, and now you're causing thought, you're causing questions, you know, and that's where the awakening just starts to happen. And the beautiful part is she doesn't have to watch on TV and find somebody to inspire her. She can look at her daughter. So it resonates in the brain a lot more because it's close to home. You know, it's more believable because I'm seeing her do it. Like, what if I could too? That's my daughter. You know,
and I feel blessed to have a mother that's open to that, you know, open to allowing those feelings to come through, you know, and I hope that I can be that mother to my daughter. And I hope that that's the standard in how mothers and daughters relate to one another as we continue, because I think that like there's so many like lessons to be learned amongst elders and, you know, and everybody else. Not everybody else, but you know, what we call the village, or like, what's the opposite of elders? The
youth,
the youth,
the youth,
the youth.
the youth, the children,
The children,
the youngins,
the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. This is what I believe. I believe the next 5 years, things are gonna be so good. It's gonna blow our minds. I can't speak. I really try not to speak for the world as though I'm a prophet. I have a message, but I feel in my womb. I know in a place I don't know how I know, but I know good is more good here.
I agree.
It's too many bitches healing.
There's too many. They can't stop
too
it.
many hoes
There's
healing.
too many hoes healing.
Like
Too
it's true.
many
Like the
hoes
resurrection
are healing.
is like it's happening. I feel that. I was like, I don't know.
Like the
shit's fucked up. Shit is fucked up.
Yes.
The world's fucked up.
Listen, the world
But
is a womb, and we are the majority.
We're remembering who the fuck we are. And that shit right there, nothing can penetrate that.
Honey.
Nothing can penetrate that because like the universe in which we birth is on our side.
Yes.
And if you go against us and you go against this movement, the universe is not going to conspire in your favor.
You won't see any abundance.
We've seen it.
We've seen
how fuck people against the cause are out of here.
It's like,
yeah.
But we do need the masculine period. You know, we were talking to Supernova about this.
Oh, that's the homie.
Oh, yes.
That's the homie.
Yeah. I had a feeling you guys.
Yes.
Yeah, and we were talking about this dynamic and the masculine and the feminine, and just like how we can support one another, and how much we need each other's support, and how women need to support the man's rebranding, and how men need to stop calling pussies weak, and just like just the coming together of it, and understanding though like the power and respecting the power of the woman. And I think there's been such a disconnect because there is an awakening of women, that there's also like a hate campaign against men. And don't get it wrong, I've been on the bandwagon at one point or another.
I get it.
You know, but ultimately that doesn't do anything to really help the collective. But I do believe, and he even said himself, like, we are in a state of emergency for men.
It is.
Like we need this,
because they're going to start dropping.
Well, like especially because there are more women.
Yeah,
you know, like
absolutely.
You know, and not because, but we don't want to be on a world just women. I don't want to be on a world just women.
If the men don't start
dick
healing,
is important.
No,
dick is important.
Super important for the balance. I feel like the
divine masculine is super important.
It will be fucked if it's just women.
This is my perspective on it. There has been an extraordinary imbalance. Extraordinary. So anytime there's been an imbalance, if there's extraordinary inflammation in the area, what you do is you start to do drastic changes and shifts and habits to bring it back to a equilibrium state. So I feel like there are some hate campaigns going on there, but a lot of people have interpreted high aggressive glorious bad bitch talk as though we're going against men, and that's not the case. It's like, no, we have to talk big dick energy. We have been in such a low state in our power and thrones that we have to say, I am a goddess, I deserve this, I require this. It's not about we trying to get you to come to us or we trying to manifest y'all. No, we're building ourselves up for being part of a society that has oppressed us on a global level for so long and have robbed us of our divine identity, our connection to the great mother that runs this whole thing. You know, like one of my closest friends said, if I was an evil genius that wanted to destroy the whole entire world, the one thing I would do is just make the women feel like they're less than. Make them feel like they have to be the last one on the list. Bada boom, bada bang. Mm-hmm. Recipe completed, cooked, baked, we ate. It's over. You know, and we're living in that time. But now women are, as you say, the resurrection. Mm-hmm. We have arisen.
We have risen.
We have risen. And we're learning.
Is this the real rapture?
Oh my God, I just heard that.
Is this the real rapture?
I just heard the Lion King. But
why do I see y'all being lifted up like
their legs open?
Cue the Lion King emoji right now here. No, that's for sure true.
I just feel like people think that we're hating, and it's like, no, it's just not about y'all right now. I'm what I'm doing with men that on some bull. I'm like, I'm pointing them to Supernova. I'm pointing them to Sacred Sons, because I'm like, I've labored for you long enough.
I can't labor for us both.
I can't be the rehabilitation center for your awakening. Like,
and you can't either, sis.
Yeah.
So
and I feel like men deserve
Girl, not the rehabilitation.
And the men,
look, it's a sign.
Rehabilitation center.
The energy.
The rehabilitation center of your healing.
Like, I can't be that for you anymore. Like, we got Google.com. We got resources. Like, whatever issue you got, you can Google it to, like, see yourself.
But you have to admit you have an issue. You have to want to seek.
You have to want to. And that's why I think men need other men.
They do.
You know, they have to at this point.
And that's what we talked about too. Women, we cannot heal the men. You can, as promises, you can't heal that nigga.
Look,
well, they've needed us, and we've allowed that, and you can't like go for a place.
We can support.
We're going to support.
Absolutely.
That is in our nature to support.
Yeah.
But you can't go to the place that you like.
Just like you can't heal us.
You can't.
No. But men deserve us to be in it, for this to be our posture. They deserve us to be in this position to say,
it's going to benefit them.
I love you so much. I have to let you go to yourself and be with yourself so you can get a real opportunity to see you, because you're not receiving the reflection that I am.
Well, this is the time, like, as a structure is like collapsing, because it is.
Yes.
It's deeply uncomfortable for them.
It is.
It's deeply uncomfortable for some women. You see the girls on the internet talking shit like, this is why you don't have a man. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But, because we're also
and I think about, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I can't help but think about the soft woman and how important, I think there's both, right? But then I'm like, there's also like a very strong campaign for very soft women, which obviously I resonate with this idea of being a soft woman, but I also like wonder, like, is that also like going against also like not being too loud, not being too boisterous, you are walking in your divine feminine.
It depends how you perceive that, because I feel like it comes both ways. Because I think a soft woman I am a soft, sensual, sexy. I don't have to say much.
I agree, but I wonder if some people misconstrue that concept.
I don't think people really know what the softening process is. They don't know, like.
Everyone has a different definition. Everybody we saw that on Trap Yoga Bay's episode.
Everybody has a different perspective and and different definitions. And what I've come to find in my journey from elders and, sages that I've met that are in their 90s, at the end of the day, you got to feel your pain. You have to see pain as an invitation. From white supremacy, injustice, from fuckboys to childhood trauma. You have to feel that shit, because when you feel that pain, it softens the parts that have been hardening for so long.
Only if you feel it.
Only if you feel it. You gotta feel it, because then you can feel the resistance, you can feel the stiffness and the firmness. And then when you allow yourself to really break and open yourself up, there's a softness that happens. Even a soft gaze to your past, you can look at it and be like, oh, baby girl, glad we learned that lesson. So grateful for him. Mm-hmm. So grateful for my parents' imperfections and weaknesses. It gave me exactly the lessons that I needed to be the woman I'm today. You're able to get soft with all the things that have made you harden. And that's what I've learned from elders, and that's what I've learned from my journey. It's not just about the aesthetics of softness. It's about feeling your heart again, feeling that fleshliness that you had as a little girl before you knew trauma, before people told you anything about yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I kind of interpret it, and just from what I've learned. And when people who can testify that softening process, they can be like, bitch, yes, I'm in the middle of it, or I've gone through it, or I'm on my third round, and be like, that's it. That's where you get the magic juiciness, because you feeling the shit that you've kind of.
It's too much.
That normally you would write off.
It's too much to access. It's too much.
Do y'all know? Let me tell y'all. Do y'all know that last year, after 10 years, I'm 10 years into intentional journey in healing trauma. last year, I just found out that I had a mother wound. Like, I thought it was daddy issues. That I saw the mother room and I broke. Y'all know Cleo's song?
I love her music.
That album, Mother, had me in a motherfucking Cleo, like, so shambles. I said, how does this woman know my life? You know? And I was like, damn, I wrote down the men that have had me in like, you know, attachment bondagement, you know, whatever, if that's a word. And I started to see the parallel. I was like, oh my God, I've been singing my mother's love through men. And I don't know how long I'll be testifying about this, but it's so fresh to my consciousness. I'm like, y'all, guess what? I found out, like, I got to the root of the bullshit behind my patterns of the type of men I've chosen. So now I'm more equipped. You feel what I'm saying?
And it's almost like I can't help but think, but now now you got to keep talking about it.
I got to keep talking about it.
You have to keep talking about it in order to heal the wound. That's
the wound.
That's the thing, is like, you don't discover the wound and then shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, that's where people fuck up, actually, is when you finally find the trigger and then you're like, oh, no. We're not talking about this shit. And it's like, okay, well, it's going to just live and fester there forever then.
I feel like I'm a woman on a horse in the middle of town, like, the queen is dead. The queen is dead. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I'm like, I found that bitch. I found the root. That root. There you are. Come here. And then after it's like the wrestle tussle, it's like, now they're there. I know. Now I got to be soft with the part of me that has been self-sabotaging intimacy, romance, finances, you know, security, safetyness, worthiness, all of it, you know, and that's helped me be soft with my life and the complexities of being multidimensional, the duality of ego, demons, darkness, shadows, sexy, wretched, contradicting, you know, I'm like, yeah, I'm all of it.
Yeah.
Just wild on this bitch.
You're finding like the template, like housing it all and accepting it all and the hurt and the pain. And yeah, I feel that. I really, really feel that. And like, even, I know I've talked about it lately a little bit, like feeling really happy and then like still feeling like a defense. And I'm like,
yeah.
And then like having to literally like physically disarm, like relax my jaw. Like let that, like really feel myself, like what are you holding on to?
Wow.
Like,
I just got chills, yeah.
You know, like what are you defending, or what is hurting? Like what is it that you're like for no reason, like that's your first response, you know?
Yeah.
Like think like negative, you know, or like but when really it's like you're safe. Even my boyfriend would be like, "You're good, we're good. Like you're safe. You don't have to think about like you're not alone anymore." And I have to like in my body, I feel my body like
yes, I am embodied.
Yeah, like I am disarmed. And then like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm like, why does this take so much work?
And I love that I'm not the only one.
No. And I'm even like continuously thinking, and it's like with ego, with defense, with trust, like you know, in our tantra practice, where it's like there's a meditation, and it's like positive thought, positive words, no, positive thought, positive words, positive action. And it's simple, right? But it's like that's a whole cycle that has like that we're breathing out back into the universe. But I'm like, am I constantly thinking positively, or am I thinking you know, it's like the shift of like your mind and like I don't know,
it's like you're it's like a circuitry.
Yeah,
it's
like,
a circuitry. Am I nourishing the frequency that I have done the work to arrive to embody what I've been studying and learning and practicing, and
am I taking
second guessing it? Like, is it coming home? Is it translating? I'm safe to believe that.
Am I safe to believe it? But am I safe to live in it? Am I safe to act in it? Am I safe to exist in it without thinking about it? You know, it's like the belief is one thing. The embodiment is something else.
Something else, sis.
And that requires, you can know, like I can know that is bad for me, and I might still do it. But it's like, I can know that's good for me, but like, and then for me, it's like, what is that self-sabotage? What is what is the obstacle that's keeping you from like implementing what you know to be true?
I remember.
Well, I think it's discipline.
Yeah.
And I think about like affirmations and the discipline that they really take to actually work.
Like do it constantly.
Yeah, like you can't just do it one time and bitch you're a new bitch. Like no, girl, like you really have to commit to the work in any space, in any healing space, in anything that you do, you know? And I think like that's where the work gets challenging.
That's where the work gets fun.
It gets fun,
but it gets challenging because it can be frustrating if you're like, you know.
It's kind of like it's like meditating. It's like the first maybe 100 times, you're like, this is
not working.
Oh God, I'm like you're anxious. You're like, oh, I'll try later, or that didn't do shit. That didn't work, or like, I can't do this. I'm not good at this. Maybe I just can't do this. Maybe this just isn't my thing. You know?
Maybe I made it all up.
Like, bitch, no. I think it's everyone's things for your brain to chill out. Like, it's everyone's thing for your brain to chill out.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
You know. So it's a practice.
It is.
It's a practice, and so I'm just so grateful for the work that you do.
Thank you.
And that you've blessed.
It's an honor.
And you've blessed our community. I want to say it's for everyone, but I know how much it resonates with women of color, and hopefully even men of color too.
It has.
You need to do like a cipher with another, like with a man or some shit. Like,
I want to do something with Super because Super. I know Super. I know some of his friends, his allies.
Oh
I've worked with him,
so
I trust his embodiment of what he believes, and that's the only space I have for when it comes to the masculine. Are you in integrity with your embodiment of what you know, where it translates, or how you interact with people and women people,
right?
You know,
specifically.
You know, specifically.
Right.
So I would love to do something with a guy. You know, it would be lovely because I think people need to see more of that divine masculine, divine feminine playing around, you know, and not fighting.
Yes,
you know,
for sure.
We're done fighting. I have a song called "Dear Men" where it talks about that.
Really?
I don't listen to it right now because I'm still integrating some of these newfound revelations about the men. I'm still digesting some things and processing some things. But at the time, I was very zealous, like men, include men in the healing and message, you know. And so I wrote that song, and I haven't listened to it in quite some time. I might have to listen to it again.
Run it back.
To see what comes up if I resist it, like, fuck these niggas. Or if it's going to be like, yeah, this is true. Yeah. This is, you know.
I still feel that way.
We see you. We see you.
Yeah.
Feel thyself, black man.
Yes. Feel thyself. Do it all. Yeah.
You know, speaking of affirmations, we always do an affirmation on the show. So what a perfect person to do the affirmations for us this week.
So is it I just say it out loud? Okay.
We'll repeat it.
You repeat it. I deserve my sovereign will to choose my abundance, my emotional abundance, my mental abundance, my sexual abundance, my financial abundance. This is my existence. I own it. I'm willing to do the work. For it to resonate. And translate into my embodiment. This is how it has to be. For me. On period. Just cause. That on that. Forever facts. So be it.
So be it.
Yes.
I love that.
I love it too.
That.
I feel la 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 sha la la.
Even how like sound, just like I felt it like trickling through my body, and like
my clothes just start falling.
It's
just sexy. Like
how it like how saying it and just really going for it, and not sometimes affirmations can be short, but like at that length, it's special. It's really special.
It's real special. This was so lovely.
This is so lovely.
So lovely. Ever doing hotels?
Toni, what's your story?
Child, doing the most. The absolute most. Balls in the mouth.
Oh, of course.
Everything. And I'm telling you, I think in this particular scenario with this particular guy some years ago, it was about me trying out boundaries because I know he wanted to fuck. But I was like, and we had been involved before, but he ghosted me and I was attached immediately. And I was resistant that he got me that attached that soon. And so this second round, I grew up a little bit more. You know, this is before the albums and all that. And I was like, well, I'm going to say my boundaries. I'm like, okay, it has to be this way. It has to be that, you know. It has to be in a hotel. It can't be in our homes. Like, I don't want that energy with me. I don't want to feel like it's something more personal. And I was
Let's just call it what it is. We fucking.
We fucking. But it has to be, I was like, it has to be in a nice hotel. It had to be, we had to do certain rituals, you know, and he was just like, I'm so proud of you. You're speaking up for yourself.
Yeah.
And
well, I love that he said that.
Yeah. And so it was in this hotel in Detroit, and we took a bath together. We started having sex in the bath.
Nothing like that.
I started saying affirmations in his ear.
Oh, getting practicing early.
Yeah, and I had to, and first of all, I did a lot because I wanted to romanticize that it was my reality more than a fuck. That was one of the things that I did as a girl. You know, I wanted the fantasy of the man because I didn't want to face the reality of it not being something that was aligned with my heart. Right. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So
Isn't that dangerous though?
Right.
Super.
Yeah,
I'm
not very scary.
You're creating a scenario that's not real.
Like, so I got war wounds, y'all.
You Aries, you crazy. You a little crazy.
Are you kidding? I was telling you earlier, like I have every element. Like, yes, I'm very proud of my insanity. I am. I manage it so beautiful. Like, I think it's so dope. Anywho, I digress. So I did the most. I had so much food, so much candles. Like, it was just so, like, I spent so much money. Like, and I was like, this motherfucker bet to pay for this room. So when I get there, because I got bags.
Because you got candles and
decor and all the things, you know, incense and all that stuff. Petals, flowers, all of that. I'm like, this is my man. This is my husband. Like, yes.
Tonight you're my man.
Not pounds of flowers.
Wait a minute. Somebody should put that on a hoodie. Pounds of flowers.
Oh my God, that's good.
Anywho, okay. So yeah, it was, you know, make long story longer. You know, he got there and music was playing. You know, I took his clothes off. I washed him up. It felt like I was fulfilling my purpose. I was like, I am destined to serve and cherish this sir that's going to bestow his nuts all over me. You know, it was like that. Like, I felt so this was...
Because if you're in love, that's what you do.
That's
how a woman softens to an
Yeah, and then I like that I even wanted that because not every guy knows how to open me up in that way to where I want to like share myself with you. That, right? So I'm like, oh, you got me open like that? Okay, you might get the, you know, and so, you know, the night went on and we just fucked all night. Wax, you know, candles, you know, wax melting. It was so sensual, so soft. I came on the 100th lick. He told me, he was like, wow, you really came at 100. I was like, you were counting? He was like, yes. I was like, what?
Wow.
So that was fun. So I have a few of them, but that one was the most
that's sexy.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
Because I was emotionally involved and invested. But I learned a lot from that experience.
Did you feel complete after you fulfilled the fantasy, or were you wanting more?
I think I wanted to feel like I was complete. I remember the morning after, and I was just like, yes, done deal.
Did you just pin up the pounds of flowers? So they just left there.
Well, I put it in an area, you know, and then it was like, we had, this was another thing that we did. I forgot I did this. Not so. I had this whole, this little metal bowl. Not a metal bowl. It's like a bowl where it's like clay kind of, and it had a little top to it or whatnot. And we wrote down what we wanted to let go, and we burned it in there before we start having sex. So it was very
ritual.
I was really just in the mind frame of if I'm in a conscious, intentional relationship, what would it look like?
Right. If I was a witch having sex.
Pretty much.
What would I do?
Pretty much dip him in the water. Have him count to 100.
Light the fire.
Light the fire. Most expensive hotel you can find.
Bring the elements and smells of the nature and roses.
Bring our demons to the ash. All of that.
Wear red.
We're red. I wore orange. Oh my God, I just had another memory. Got a whole outfit designed for that night.
No, you didn't, bitch.
This is what I did.
What
I did
the
a
hell?
lot.
What do you mean designed?
I did a lot. I
did a
had
really
a design.
custom
I had a
piece?
lingerie designer make me an orange like
That's what happened
sheer
because
dress.
her past styling life also came to bless her
She's
in her
like,
sex life.
Listen,
I need to take some notes from you, bitch, because what the fuck?
I don't even know a lingerie designer.
Send the contacts.
yes.
Because wow.
Yeah, I did the most. I wanted this night to be special for me, but I also wanted to show off.
I hope
Like
the
what
dick,
type
I
of-
hope,
would've
I
been like
hope
a real
the dick
bitch.
showed out.
It was
100.
but see, I had better dick since then, so it's just kind of like at the time I was
was
like,
the best.
glory, but it's like now it's just like it was nice.
In hindsight.
It was hindsight.
Cool, it was what I needed right then and there.
Right then and
It
there.
impressed her.
Yeah. I've made love since then, so it's just like,
different.
nah, bro, it was a different day.
Okay, well that's a hoary. I like that.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me share. I've never shared that before.
I love that. You know,
For
most
sure.
most people fantasize about being like the hoochie. You're like, I'm going to be the wife.
Mhm.
That's the fantasy.
Yes. That was the fantasy, and I wanted to kind of like show off, like, yeah, this the
is
way
what you-
I this the
what
way
you
I wife,
could.
nigga.
Right.
This what you
You
could
know,
get.
this what you could get.
365 nigga, but you tripping.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
Yep. I love looking back at that. He doesn't have me or access to. I love that for me, for my ego.
Yeah.
It's so healthy.
At least you know. Like sometimes when it's ego, it's just like, well, my ego is really proud of that. Like,
yeah.
Feel really good about that.
I give her treats. I give her snacks.
You know, a little bit. Like you got to feed the beast a little bit to keep her at bay. Like
Keep her
don't
at
take
bay.
over, but I give you a
Feed
little
the
something.
ego.
Feed the ego. Give her a
Feed
little
the
snack.
ego treat.
Yeah, like
Give her a little snack.
What kind of snacks does she eat? What does she like to eat?
She, a little petty, a little petty snack.
Some Starburst.
Yeah, all of that.
a little block, delete,
Yeah.
leave on red.
Oh,
Not
all of that.
responding, but I know you saw that I saw
This
it.
one guy texted me this he ghosted me. And I haven't heard from like in a couple months. And I was liking him a little bit. I was like, oh, okay, And he ghosted me. And for 2 months, he didn't reach out. He just reached out to me.
Oh, that's my favorite. Like,
And he sent me this long text. So deep.
Oh, God.
All the language.
Oh, Jesus.
I needed to
words.
heal. I was in a toxic
all the
place.
words. He's getting it off his chest.
Oh, my God. He's ready to be real
And I
with
was
you.
like, okay,
That's it?
that's it.
I love it.
Okay.
It felt so good to do that because I was always the girl like, oh, communication. I arrive. Let me,
Oh, I can over-communicate. I can communicate the fuck out
oh
of
my
you.
God. Yeah. I like to engage. I like to have open, empathetic,
Right.
vulnerable communication. And I was like, no, because
that's
what
a
he
gift.
didn't, I had to see what he didn't say, which was no questions of me. He didn't ask anything of me. He was getting something off his chest. He wasn't trying to restore integrity or communicate.
He was just telling
He's
you.
just telling me. So
No.
it's okay.
Well, just like communication is a gift, sometimes niggas and bitches, the people, humans, don't deserve
Humans.
the gift of
They don't.
communication. They don't deserve that
They
gift.
don't.
that energy.
So you just
No,
one-word answers, baby.
Yeah.
That's enough.
That's
That's
enough.
the message.
that's the message.
Got it.
Yeah, sometimes abundance is doing less,
Yeah. When's your birthday?
April 18th.
April 18th.
I'm an Aries. Aquarius
Birthday
moon.
month almost.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, my
Thank you.
daughter's
It's
April 25th.
okay.
Yeah.
So she's a Taurus.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. It's wild being an Aries. It's a wild thing.
Well, speaking of stars and
Astrology.
moons,
Into the microphone, baby.
is it tarot time?
It's tarot time.
Y'all should have a jingle.
We
Tarot
do.
time? It is?
We do.
Okay, yes. I gotta
You
hear
just
it.
can't hear it. We can't hear it.
Maybe we should sing it. Maybe we should-
Tarot time. Tarot.
It's tarot time.
It's tarot time. It's
Well, it's music.
I know, yeah. I guess that's probably better than us singing it.
Yeah, we're fucking up the whole.
were
music.
doing it,
beautiful
yeah.
mystical music that plays.
But that
Wow.
was fun.
So you know what? When I was shuffling for her, she chose this one, but there's another one that looks that jumped out. So I'll read both.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The moon represents your fears and illusions are and often comes out when you are projecting fear into your present and your future based on your past experiences. You may have a painful memory that caused emotional distress, and rather than dealing with the emotions, you push them down deep into your subconscious. Now these emotions are making a reappearance, and you may find yourself under the influence on a conscious or subconscious level. For example, if you had a car accident when you were young but didn't deal with the emotions, you may get sad or anxious every time you get into the backseat of a car. To remedy this, connect with your subconscious mind and release any fears or anxieties holding you back. Hypnosis, therapy, and shamanic healing can support this process. The moon can indicate time of uncertainty and illusion when nothing is what it seems. Be careful of making fast decisions when the moon appears, because you may later realize you only had half the information you needed. You need to listen to and trust your intuition so you can see beyond what is in front of you. Feel into your situations rather than thinking what they mean. Let go of your conscious mental blocks or negative self-talk and allow your intuition to guide you. So, wow, this makes sense. We talked a lot about going back to that young person inside and going back to feel the things.
Limiting belief systems and negative self-talk.
And reprogramming the self.
Is that the 9 of Cups right there? Okay. And then this fell out as I was shuffling. Let's see what this means. Shout out to Biddy Tarot for supporting the Tarot Queens. Tarot Queens in training. Okay. 9 of Cups. You know those moments when you glance around and feel your heart overflowing with love and appreciation for everything you have created in your life? That's what the 9 of Cups is about. Emotional fulfillment, happiness, and contentment. When this card appears in a tarot reading, you're content in all aspects of your life, relationships, work, lifestyle, well-being, and more. You're basking in the abundance of life. Wait, where'd it go? You're basking in the abundance of life and experiencing your emotions with such intensity and pleasure. This is why the 9 of Cups is often called the wish card. It comes as a sign that the planets aligned and you have everything you wished for. You could not be happier. If you made your wish and are patiently waiting for it to come to fruition, then this card is an excellent omen that it will soon be granted. Wow. Deal with the shadow side and all your wishes will be gifted.
Stop the negative self-talk, sis, and go check out
Toni Jones.
Toni Jones.
I am ToniJones.com.
Yes. Is that where all our people can find you? Is that the best place to go?
I am ToniJones.com. I am Toni Jones on Instagram. I also have a membership community called The Living Room where we do self-talk together. It's all for women who I just wanted to create a space where women didn't have to do something else. So we really learn how to do beingness and living, not off of productivity and performance, but really communicating and kicking it. So that's that.
Chilling in the living room.
Chilling in the living room. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun.
This was fun.
I felt like I was in the living room.
Yeah,
kicking
this
it.
is what we were going for, like a woman's living room.
Yes.
The girl den, the woman den.
I love all those names.
The goddess den.
Yes.
The babe cave.
It felt like that. It felt like that.
It's not resonating with my soul.
The vibe
my
here
spirit isn't connected to that.
The vibe here translates into the Instagram matrix for sure. I feel you guys. I'm like, they really feel this. I'm like, I love their family forever.
Yes,
because y'all are really about that embodied vibe.
It's so crazy, like you said, you knew Supa because we were just talking to him about frequency, and when you're emitting your frequency, you find your people. And he came, then you came, and then here we are.
Yes, yeah, we're all part of the circuitry. What? Yeah.
Is he talking to us?
I don't know. Well, you know where to find us. goodmomsbadchoices.com. Please go pre-order our book, The Good Mom's Guide to Making Bad Choices. We are really putting out a collective manifestation to be New York best time selling authors. So please put your collective
energies
to
together.
make this
It's
happen.
done.
And
We
also
need
your
you.
clicks.
We need our tribe. We need you guys. And, you know, I hope that our stories resonate with you. And I hope that, you know, you share the message. And I want to hear your feedback. It's our first book. You know, I want to know what you guys think. So I hope you'll support us and go check out our book.
And also check out our Patreon, because we'll be telling a lot about how this book came to be, diving deeper into chapters, sharing a lot of the 2-year journey behind the scenes. And I think it's pretty cool. So come check us out. Come hear the uncensored version of every episode. And thank you.
Wait, should we say, because we're going to do a censored episode of this, right?
I said uncensored.
I know, but should we say like this episode? I guess we said in the beginning, right?
What?
That we're doing. Never mind. I'm high guy.
Okay.
My bad. My bad. I just making sure they understood that part of this episode was also going to be on Patreon. I guess we said it at the beginning of I forgot it.
I said it just now.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I thought you said just in general. I didn't know it was like specific.
Okay. Well, you want to say it?
No, it's fine. It's fine. People are just slow, and I'm high, so.
Okay.
I do too.
Bye.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.